Welcome back to the show, everybody. I want to welcome three very special guests. The lady and gentleman from Who Comics. We got David, Eric, and Nikki. You guys may know them from a few weeks ago when we discovered this fantastic website, dundermifflinpaper.com. And we got them here to talk about the site and the comics. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Thanks, Chris.
So you guys know the story that came from all this. We discovered the Adventures of Jimmy Halpert. We discovered the website, and we went kind of crazy on the show, just going through the website, talking about it. So real quick, talk about how you first got dundermifflinpaper.com and how it led to what it is now.
Well, it all started with a Christmas gift that Nikki made for me. She made me the Office season 10 comic book as a Christmas gift. I got it. It was one of the most amazing things I ever received. And I just went and I started sharing it online, and then it just started spreading from there. After that, we started searching for domain names to pick out, and we landed on dundermifflinpaper.com for the domain. And, we made the website look like a paper company as a joke at first. But once people started trying to buy paper, that's when we just went with it.
So, yeah, when you go on the website, you see that you guys are actually selling reams of paper. You've got contact for Dunder Mifflin and all these things. And talk about that. Why try to sell reams of paper on the website?
Well, when we first started, we didn't really have enough money to make the comic books themselves. We just had the digital version that I was passing around. And when we made the website, we put as a joke paper reams in the shop. And then after a few months, we went and we checked into the shop and we saw that people were trying to buy it. So then we decided to make the paper reams themselves to help raise money to make the comic books.
So the paper reams that you put up, and we went through them a few weeks ago. We had everything from Michael Scott Paper Company to the different types you've seen on the show. On the website for purchase, you use that to try to pay for the printing of the first comic?
Yeah, that's what we started doing until David, he saw what we were doing and he thought it was a great idea. Then he came in and bankrolled the whole situation.
Funny enough, I actually when I first invested with Eric and Nikki, I actually hadn't seen a single full Office episode. I just kind of recognized the value of them having worked with the person who did Pam's artwork. I'm like, well, that's something that can't be ever done again. So it's happy to take that opportunity. Since then, just for the record, I have gone through the whole show once on my second round. But yeah.
We made him do it.
Yeah, it's my job now to watch The Office.
So it's funny because all this going on, it's been back in the news a lot, The Office, with the switch to Peacock and all the new stuff going on. So it's great timing on our part. But so you get that. Let's go back. You get that gift from Nikki. It's the season 10 of The Office. Tell us a little bit about that. What is that book about, and where did the idea come from?
So we had just, our house burned down in New Jersey, and we moved to California, and we were out here, and we were, with nobody. We didn't know nobody, so we started rewatching The Office. And one day I had a dream. I was, because we were watching The Office and we were watching The Walking Dead, rewatching both shows, and I had a dream about Dwight in the Walking Dead world. And I told Nikki, I was like, yo, Dwight would do really good in a post-apocalyptic world. Somebody should do something with that. And then the following Christmas, I received that as a gift for Christmas.
So Nikki, you wrote and drew that, or did you just write that and then find an artist to work with you on that?
Yeah, I just wrote it and then I found a really good artist to make it real. I drew it myself, just as I guess a storyboard, so he would know what to go off of, and then I had him illustrate it.
And did you imagine that Eric would take it and then try to do what's come of it since then, or were you just like, this would be a really cool gift for Eric? And
Yeah, just a really cool gift to keep to ourselves. But knowing him, I should have imagined that he was going to share it.
She actually got mad at me when she found out that I shared it and other people were passing it around online.
So
she was like, that's something personal from me to you, and you share it.
So we get this book, you start passing around, and then eventually end up distributing it. Is that like where Who Comics is born? Right there is your idea to like, let's pass this around, and maybe we can do some more stuff with it, whether it's office or otherwise.
Well, we were already selling paper. I was actually on the Venice Beach boardwalk. I had, you know how the vendors and the artists, they sell stuff there. I started selling her stickers and a few paper reams on there because she does a lot of artwork too. So I was selling office related stickers, and people would just walk up. I'm telling them I'm Venice Beach branch of Dunder Mifflin, and if you support, all the money that we receive goes towards making the comic books a reality.
That's awesome. So we get that out there. Season 10's a thing, and you guys, you start getting out to people's hands and printed. When along the line?
Before that, Rainn Wilson actually called it epic on Twitter.
Okay. So at what point do you decide to go ahead and do the Adventures of Jimmy Halpert?
Well, we had the idea to start on the Adventures of Jimmy Halpert, and we were working with another artist. His name is on Instagram. He's Fred Paints 23, and he actually did the newest page, which the original comic book is the original cover, and then the same 2 pages printed over and over again. So no matter where Jim lands on it, he can do his line. That's my baby. That's my bike. And we created a new page in which Jim starts turning into the bear, and Fred Paints did that with inspiration from an Incredible Hulk transformations.
Okay.
And we started passing that around, letting people know that we're going to do this. And then that's when Tone Rodriguez contacted Nikki and said, hey, you guys are making my comic book. And that's when we realized he's the original artist. And then he jumped on board.
Yeah, so Rodriguez was the guy that did the art for The Office. So that's the art you see on the TV show, correct?
Yeah. The original cover and the original 2 pages, he did that artwork. And he did all the rest of the artwork for that comic book, but with the story that Nikki wrote.
All right, so he jumps in and finishes the book. So now the one that's out now, which I believe you said came out a few months back and is available for sale now, is drawn by him. So the guy who actually did the art and is quote unquote Pam on the show is the one finishing this book, or that did finish this.
That finished it, yeah. Illustrated with the hand of Pam is what I say.
So you start getting all this feedback. You start getting all these people liking the book and everything. So where do you go from here? Like, do you guys have more office stuff you want to do? Is it just going to be, or is it going to be other stuff that you original content, if you will?
Well, everybody keeps asking Nikki for part 2 of the Office season 10 comic book, and she's already working on that, and she has a lot of pages already.
So we're going on and do another part for season 10, or are we going to call this season 11?
No, it's gonna be Return of the Office issue number 2.
Okay.
It's kind of like the second episode in the season, and we already have like all the episodes for that season kind of like written out.
Oh, so you're gonna do a whole series that's the finishing to what you started with that season 10 comic?
10 issues.
10 issues, man. And then I guess I'll rewind a little bit too with the website. Like, there's so many things on there that are just so fun and interesting. Like, and I know you guys showed this to me a while back off air, but like, there's things on there such as you can call Dunder Mifflin. Like, where did that idea come from? And then explain to people what you showed me with that, where they're actually calling an actual phone line.
Yeah, so on the original website, it was just like a WordPress layout, and we just went and filled in all the stuff that had to do with the office in there ourselves. When we got to the contact us page, we added the phone number on there, just so people can contact us just in case they need help with their shipments. But then Google actually recognized us as Dunder Mifflin for some reason. And now when you Google the Dunder Mifflin phone number, you actually get my cell phone number. So I get calls all day, every day from office fans. Sometimes they won't even talk. They'll just giggle and hang up. But sometimes people will ask for Michael or Jim or Pam, and I'll tell them where they are on the show. Like if they ask for Michael, he's in Colorado. They ask for Jim or Pam, they're in Austin, Texas.
It's such a fun little thing, and it's hard to recreate. But to all my listeners out there, we were actually talking off air. What was that? A few weeks ago when we were chatting, and somebody actually called you while we were chatting, and I got to see like someone call and you be Dunder Mifflin paper. It's just a fun little interaction that you added to all this. I absolutely love it.
Sometimes those phone calls turn to sales.
There you go. So you got season 10. You're going to do that into 10 issues. You've got Jimmy Halpert that's out
Already
and available
working
for
on episode 2 of Jimmy Halpert.
You're doing more Jimmy Halpert as well?
Yeah, we're going to do part 2.
And are there any more books that are like in production or thought about right now?
We are also working with Hide and Glenn from The Office. His name, Hide Toshimura on Instagram and Sir Tenor on Instagram. We're doing a spin-off Office comic book based on those 2 warehouse workers.
And remind everybody who that is.
Hide is the Japanese warehouse worker, and Glenn is the person who Daryl left as manager of the warehouse after he moved on to bigger and better things. That story is actually based on Hide's background story, which is about him killing a Yakuza boss. He's #1 heart surgeon, steady hand. He killed Yakuza boss on purpose. The American workplace made it to Japan, and some Yakuza guys saw that he killed their boss, and he's admitted to it on TV. So now they're coming for him.
That's such a cool way to take a character that had some good moments, but was very much just like a bottom tier character, and just do something really interesting with it. And the moment that was very throwaway. I love it.
Yeah, he was really cool. He took me and Nikki out to a cafe in Santa Monica, and one of the things that he asked us, he said, "Please make me part of your season 10 comic book." And he wanted to, that was so exciting to be able to meet him that we actually came up with an idea off his backstory, and now it just materialized into its own comic book.
So has anyone else from the show reached out to you? Any of the creators, the
Leslie David Baker, the guy who plays Stanley, he actually hired Nikki, after they saw the comic book, they loved what they did. They took me and Nikki out to dinner. He hated me. He loved Nikki. And, the reason he hated me is I was a little loud and excited. Nikki was cool, calm, and collected with him. And I kept calling him Stanley. I called him Stanley 5 times during that dinner.
And so he just loved the comic and reached out to you guys.
Reached out to us, took us out to dinner, and hired her to create an office trivia crossword puzzle book based on his most iconic moments from the show.
That's cool, and that's also available on the website too. I saw.
Yes, it is. Well, the one that she made originally for Leslie was a little shorter, so Nikki just added a way more trivia and just. Nikki's magical. She's very, very talented and really knows what Office fans want, and she just delivers on point every time. So we're building Who Comics on top of her. She's our foundation.
So what do you see happening with Who Comics in the future? Like we've talked about a lot of Office stuff. Is that kind of what you're going to stick with, or do you guys have some more stuff that you want to work on? Well,
we have the Threat Level Midnight graphic novel that we're working on. That's going to be a 3-part series. The first one is going to be just like the original movie, just with a few little things that we add in so we can continue the story. The second one's called Threat Level Midnight Reloaded, which Nikki's working on the story now. And another thing that we're trying to do, me and David, is, you know, Nikki has this amazing novels that she's been writing for like 8 years, and we're trying to convince her to turn those novels, instead of releasing them as novels, she got such a strong comic book fan base, we should turn those stories into comic books. But she doesn't want to listen to us. She doesn't let nobody read it. I'm the only person who's read it. It's an amazing story. I don't understand why she doesn't want to do nothing with it.
So, Nikki, a little shy about your writing, or is it something else?
Yeah, I'm definitely shy. I don't know. It's just like weird to show it to people. I'm not like that person. Just like the comic book, like it wasn't for everybody. It was for him.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they're slowly convincing me. So that's the next thing. I have a few other stories that are not that one that I am more willing to turn into comic books, and that those are the ones that we're kind of going to branch off into.
The Last Scientist is dope.
Also, my true story, also like leading up to how I met them, is kind of going to be turned into a dramatized comic as well. So we definitely have like a lot of original content that we plan to develop.
So to get into that, David, how do you meet up with these guys? Like, we got kind of the quick synopsis of it, but what's the story there?
Well, I was actually introduced to him through a friend, and it was total, you know, what most people would call a coincidence. But
we met at a goddess temple in Venice Beach.
Yeah. And
the weirdest of places.
And there was no like business intentions. It was just like a little hangout. I show up there, and it just so happens that my backstory and what I'm kind of aiming to do creatively fits in with his like thing that he already had going with Nikki, like Dunder Mifflin Paper and these comic books. I experienced a very interesting cult-like situation living as a monk at a Shaolin temple branch, and having escaped that and like survived and, you know, healed myself through that, I kind of like want to turn that into a story, because as dramatic as it was for me, like I think it would be really entertaining and interesting for people to watch. And the way I always envisioned it was like Office style, like mockumentary cameraman holding a camera and just documenting like our ridiculous things that we were doing at the temple. And again, like I hadn't really seen The Office, but I know that it was pretty popular, and I had seen some show like scenes from the show, and I knew the style of how it was shot. So I just had this idea in my head, and I've just been holding on to it in my back pocket. And then I meet this guy, and he's already like, when I had met him, he was already kind of creating some content for YouTube and like Instagram to promote his paper salesman stuff. And I was like, yo, I got this true story and I got a camera. Let me help you film. And when the time comes, like, be a part of me telling my story. And, you know, we just started hanging out a little bit from there. And, you know, one thing led to another. Some like partnership opportunities kind of went sour for him and, you know, a third party. So I kind of like saw an opportunity for myself to step in. And
somebody tried to steal Dunder Mifflin from us. And he came in and saved the day.
So David's the hero of the story there.
I think we're all heroes in our, you know, we all play a different piece to this puzzle, you know.
Yeah.
Nikki's the one with all the talent, though.
So we go from there. You've got all these great comics working, and then you've mentioned some possible TV, maybe YouTube stuff that you want to do. Talk a little bit about your aspirations there to kind of do some stuff beyond comics a little bit.
So one of the things that Hide and Mr. Tenor told us is that if the comic book proves to be as popular as our other two comics, that they'd be willing to film our Office spinoff as a YouTube show. So, you know, we're hoping that this comic book, you know, pops off and we can actually make our first YouTube show being a spinoff from The Office, using some of the original characters. Well, we're mostly going to be using the extras, you know, not the main characters.
So that's gonna be based on the Yakuza boss finding him
Yes,
again.
yes.
So
It's actually a funny story how Hide became a warehouse worker. Hide's like been in movies like Last Samurai. He's always the Japanese extras for anything Japanese or Oriental. He's in there as an extra. And since he picks up so much extra jobs, he actually picked up an extra job. He went to go try out for the warehouse workers. And the reason he got the job is because he didn't look like everybody else. Everybody else were these big burly men looking to be warehouse workers, and he was a small Japanese person, and that's why they picked him.
that's a cool little story. So you've got all this going on. Where is Who Comics today? Like, are you guys? Are you getting the numbers that you want to get right now, or are you seeing growth in there?
You know, I thought we had high expectations, you know, when we came in, and we blew past those high expectations hard. Like we weren't shooting that high, I guess, you know. Christmas and everything in the office being trending, all that coming into one. Black Friday was we got so many hits on our website that after 2 days our website shut down, and we had to, you know, scramble to get someone to fix all that stuff and get us back up live again. But we're excited, you know. Right now sky's the limit. You know, we have funding for all our future endeavors.
That's always a nice feeling. So, has anyone from NBC, or have you reached out to NBC to see if you could do more? Maybe become the official.
Yeah, we have. It's kind of a rabbit hole going, like kind of going down a rabbit hole if you don't have a direct connection right away. So we've just been looking on like IMDb Pro, you know, scrolling through LinkedIn profiles, just, you know, Google searches and stuff, trying to find people who work in the right department at NBC and a way to contact them. And it seems like we're getting closer, but like the first people we reached out to didn't work there anymore. And then the second people we reached out to said it was wrong department, but they're gonna like relay us to the right people. And all of this is going on during these holidays, so that people have been kind of slow to get back. But interestingly enough, too, though, outside of NBC, we kind of had the idea that maybe we can also try the route of gaining cast support and maybe use their rapport with the studios to get our foot in the door that way. So our first thought was like, well, Rainn Wilson shouted us out on his Twitter. Maybe, you know, maybe he'll support us further than that if we can, you know, contact him with a proposal. So we did a little bit of research and found out that he has a production company called Soul Pancake, which is kind of funny because Nikki's like little shop name is Soul Attractive. Just like all these little kind of like irony, you know, ironic things. But yeah, so we were getting ready to reach out to Soul Pancake, found their email address, and then one day I'm like out rock climbing with a friend who I hadn't seen in a while, and we're just catching up. So I'm pitching in the Dunder Mifflin stuff and blah 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 blah, and he's like stoked about it and asked me if I am aware of Rainn Wilson's production company. I'm like, oh yeah, Soul Pancake, like we're actually gonna reach out to them soon. And he goes, bro, you want to hear some funny shit? Literally, no joke, my best friend is the social media director there, so I'm gonna introduce you guys and see what we can get going. So we're taking several angles at it. Kind of got to just chisel away at it over and over until we find our way, but that's kind of where we're at so far.
Nikki wrote a letter to Rainn Wilson. Just a few days ago, we got contacted. Somebody called the Dunder Mifflin phone number, and they asked us about the comic books that we have, and they purchased a large amount because tomorrow, January 4th, in Vegas, Rainn Wilson's going to be signing 80 of Nikki's comic books. They're going to come with like Beckett certificates and all that stuff. So in the package that we sent over to them, Nikki sent them a copy of each comic book for Rainn Wilson himself, and she wrote him a letter as well.
I mean, this is all just so so crazy to me, so amazing. Like it starts off as just a birthday gift to somebody, and then
Christmas gift.
Christmas gift, sorry, and then you end up not only talking with the cast and getting some cast endorsement, but like working with people that worked on the show in terms of the Jimmy Halpert book and all that. I can't tell you guys how awesome the story is. It's a great little thing you got going on.
We really appreciate that.
This actually just popped in my head. It's kind of going backwards, but you said you're doing issue 2 of Jimmy Halpert. Is the artist sticking on board with that? Is he going to keep moving on with that series?
Yes, he's
Yes,
working
he
on the
is.
cover now.
We actually have some mock-ups of the cover already. It's a ball that's very much rolling in motion.
That's awesome. Now, have you guys? I know you're kind of self-publishing all this. Have you reached out to any publishers to see if they want to work with you on any of this, or is this kind of you want to keep it all in house?
We don't mind keeping it in house. We also don't mind like.
Do you know any good publishers? What's up?
I know a few, but
Nice.
But yeah, because
Slide me that contact info.
Because I see we've had a few people on the show in the past who have started off super indie and then either have their own like sub label with a publisher or stuff like that. You see that all the time where it could be like Who Comics, a division of X publisher. But it's also it's a weird royalties thing because I think you would really need to get NBC on board with that before you go down that rabbit hole. But like I said, I can't say. I hope everybody enjoyed listening to this story because to me it's just so interesting. Like it's literally we started with this little thing and now we're blown up to what we are, and it looks like you guys are just going to keep going up and up and up. So,
Nikki's writing is great, man.
It is.
Nikki, you should let him read your story.
Hopefully we'll be back on the show when we continue to blow up, and it'll be for our personal content. And
yeah, you guys are welcome back on the show anytime. Unfortunately, I'll tell all the listeners out there because I always peel the curtain back for everybody. I don't care, but we got the books. We got them a little late, so we're gonna review them hopefully next week. So everybody keep up with that. But I mean, you don't need my review. It's Jimmy Halpert. It's season 10 of The Office. Go check it out. And guys, where could they check it out?
DunderMifflinPaper.com.
And anywhere else you want to send them? Do you guys have any Twitter or Instagram or anything like that? Do you guys have?
Our Instagram page, The Office Collectibles, just hit 42,000 followers.
Trying to reach 100K.
Yeah, help us out. Follow us.
All right, everybody, go out there, check the Instagram out. Make sure you go to the website, pick up some books, and all the other. We didn't even scratch the surface. I mean, there's the comics, there's the reams of paper, there's the crossword puzzle book. They've got birthday cards, stickers, you name it. If you're an Office fan, there's some cool stuff on there, and I know there's plenty of you out there. So everybody,
even become a 10.
Yeah, and Nikki's making more stuff too.
There you go. So everybody go check them out.
Getting ready for Valentine's Day.
So guys, thanks so much for being on the show. Seriously, you guys are welcome back anytime. I look forward to seeing more from you.
Likewise. And thanks for having us. We really appreciate it.
Who Comics?
Thank you.